Hey everybody, it's Christine Parma. I'm back after a wonderful, refreshing vacation and break for myself. I have to say it was amazing. I posted some of the photos on my timeline if you see them. You'll know it was amazing too. But I am back today with another training for you guys. I'm back in the saddle and I want to help you get in the saddle in your business and take off with it. And that's why today I am talking about how to position yourself as more than worth the fees you charge. Because one of the hurdles I think a lot of entrepreneurs come up against is people tell them they're too expensive. I'm going to pause a real quick moment while I tell you how to find myself so I can refresh my screen and make sure that I'm seeing everybody's comments. If you don't know who I am Christine Parma, and I help mama CEOs build their soul-fulfilling businesses without sacrificing things that matter most to them or working 24 hours 7. And step by step, I show them how to build amazing businesses that allow them to be amazing moms too. So business and family, it's about having the balance between those two things. Oh my goodness, there I am. Okay, my page just refreshed. Okay, I want to make sure I can see everybody. So today we're talking about what do you do? Well, how do you avoid the situation of people saying, oh my gosh, you're charging too much for your services or you're just too dang expensive. So I've got some steps for you because you know I'm all about the practical application of things. So step number 1, I guess this applies to not only the sales conversations that you have, or, I call them sales conversations. If you're talking about what you do to anybody in any sort of way, it's really a sales conversation because you're trying to tell them how you can help them and gain clients, right? So I call it a sales conversation. So this applies not only to the conversations that you're having, but also to your web pages, your sales pages that you have that describe how you can help people, how you work with them. So step number one is you really need to be very specific and detailed about how you describe the costs of the problem that your dream client has. So say, for example, let's give you an example from my business. So some of the problems that mompreneurs face when they're trying to build their own businesses and balance, the roles of being a mom, being a wife, all of the other hats that they fill, some of the costs are, emotionally they feel overwhelmed, they're crazy busy, they feel like they never have time for themselves. Maybe it's taking a toll on their relationship with their spouse because, if you're a mom like I am, a lot of times you feel like, oh, well, the kids come first, the kids come first, the kids come first. And you put the kids first. And if you're lucky, and blessed, you have a husband who feels that way. But what can happen a lot of times is the husband and wife, that relationship kind of falls to the back burner. And then, as far as the relationship and time for yourself falls to the furthest way down the road, back burner, behind the carpooling and everything else. So your relationships can suffer, and then there's monetary costs around, if you're trying to launch your business and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not reaching your business goals, and then you feel like you're failing at being a mom too, there's the costs of, business-wise, you're less profitable than you could be. You're probably spending money on things that you don't need to be doing. You're feeling overwhelmed, you're getting stuck. So you need to be really detailed in, and there's I go into a lot more detail on my sales pages than I'll talk about here on the video. But for yourself, you need to think about what are the costs of the problems that my dream clients are stuck in. The people who actually want and need my help. What are the costs, tangible and intangible costs of those problems? So when you connect with, I'll tell you why it's important. When you connect with the costs and really make it very, in their face, in a sort of way, in a nice sort of way, but in their face, bring it to the forefront of their mind, what these problems are really costing them, then when they're looking at what the fee is that you charge, in comparison, your fee may seem a lot smaller. It should seem a lot smaller, or very worth it to them. And by the way, if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to pop in with your questions or your comments, and I'll answer them as I can. Or if I don't get to them for some reason, or you're watching this on the replay, you can post your questions and the comments under the replay, and I will get back to you and answer those. So that is the first step, defining the costs of the problem in great detail. The second step is what are the benefits of the solution you provide, but here's a kind of twist on that. What would it cost someone to get an alternative solution? So what would it cost someone to get a solution that might work for them other than your solution? So other than, say, working with you, if you're a service provider. And this is one, this particular approach is one that my mentor and the guy I worked for a long time, Harv Eker, used beautifully when he was selling from the stage. And his classic example, and if you've watched all my videos, then you remember me talking about this, but his classic example was when he was talking about one of his seminars that was all about business. And he went into this part of price positioning and positioning that his seminar was way cheaper solution and a way better solution than the alternative solution of getting an MBA. And he walked through this whole exercise and wrote it out on the flip chart on the stage about, and he polled the audience, hey, how much does it cost to get an MBA, nowadays? And people came up with, say $100,000. And then you say, well, then you've got to throw in housing, they could just pay for housing, and you're not working, so that's lost revenue, if you're going to get your MBA full time. And he went into all these costs of the alternative solution. And it turned out came up to a figure of $250,000. And as he walked people through this, it seemed very reasonable. They're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's not like you're making up figures, right? You're not making them up. You're bringing them to the forefront of their awareness about what the cost of alternative solutions would be. So in my case, for example, an alternative solution for mama CEOs who want to finally get control of their schedule and their lives and build a soul-fulfilling business and feel like an awesome mom, an alternative solution would be, 1, continuing with the way things are, but 2, hiring another coach, 3, maybe enrolling in a program. There's lots of different alternative solutions. And so on my website, in my sales page copy, the way I'm positioning myself and my services and the prices that I charge to work with me, I am, in a way, making it really clear what the costs of those other solutions are and disqualifying them for a reader. And this isn't about tricking people. This isn't about manipulation. It's about positioning yourself strongly and positioning the work you do strongly as more than worth the fees that you charge so that you can finally earn the kind of money that you deserve doing the amazing work that you do, right? And I'm sure that you're doing amazing work, and so many people aren't getting paid or aren't feeling confident even in charging more for their services. So this will help you with that. And if you're just tuning in and you don't know who I am Christine Parma. You can find me at christineparma.com, and I help busy mama CEOs build soul-fulfilling businesses without sacrificing everything else in their life that matters to them. So you can find more about me on my website. We're going to move on now. If nobody has questions, if you have questions, feel free to pop in with a question. Or move on to the third part of how to position what you charge as more than worth it for your clients to say yes to you. The number 3 step is, what are the savings that you help them get? What are the mistakes that you help them avoid? And what are the costs of those mistakes that you help them avoid when they work with you? So when somebody decides to hire you, they're hiring you for a specific reason, for a specific outcome. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I'll expand on that a little more. But, people are hiring you for a specific reason. So the reason that they're hiring you, one of the reasons, even if you don't say it explicitly, and this is me telling you, you need to be explicit about saying this when you're talking with people or in your sales page copy on your website, is what are the mistakes and the cost of those mistakes that you help people avoid when they hire you and they work with you. Thank you for the heart. Because there are a lot of mistakes, no matter what niche you're in, whether it's weight loss or coaching or healing. I guess part of the entrepreneurial journey and part of the value of the entrepreneurial journey is learning from your mistakes, making mistakes. But for example, when I hire coaches or I decide to enroll in someone's mastermind or program, it's in large part because I want to avoid mistakes that I feel like they know how to help me avoid. Because when you're, in business, I guess in life in general, mistakes are very, very costly. In business, my gosh, you can waste years of your time, and time is the most valuable asset, years of your time trying to figure it out all on your own. And, there's a magic point where someone decides, even just on this point alone, the cost of the mistakes that this person can help me avoid are more than justify the investment fee that I have to pay to work with them or take their program or enroll in their course, because the mistakes are so costly. And when you make it very clear to people how costly the mistakes are and what it's costing them in terms of money, in terms of time lost, and it's not just that time is lost, it's what opportunities are lost because the time is wasted or because the mistake is made. In my line of work, when you end up, like if you want to create your signature program and get your business out into the world, and you spend months and months and months and maybe even years of your life not getting your work out there because you feel stuck, because you don't know how to capture the brilliance, package up the brilliance that's in your head and your heart and get it out into the world in a way that is leveraged, and so you don't have to slave 24 hours a day in your business, then the costs are you spend less time with your kids. You miss those precious moments, with your kids. I am telling you this because I have made these mistakes. I remember one particular day when we were living in Portland, Oregon, and we had this beautiful, rare snow in Portland. Now, it wasn't so rare this last winter, but before that, it was pretty rare to have snow. And I had clients, and I had pre-sold my program, and I had just, it's a learning journey, right? But I'd set a deadline for myself, and I made a promise to my husband I would finish this particular thing I was working on by a certain time. And so it was like a Saturday or Sunday, and I'm sitting there working at my computer, and I turn and I look out my home office window, and my husband and my kids and our neighbors are playing in our yard. We have a really big yard back in Portland, and they're sledding in the yard, and they're laughing, and they're having fun, and I'm like, ugh, stab in the heart. Literally, I was just like, oh my God, this is killing me. I'm so happy for them. This is killing me to watch this, because I'm here at my computer, trying to bang this thing out, and I am missing this precious moment. And it broke my heart, and my heart ached. Hi, Marianne, good to see you. It's like that. That is a cost. That is a cost of a mistake that probably could have been avoided when I was first starting my business, as far as the way I could have been doing my business differently, how I could have approached it differently. And so you need to make it very tangible, the cost of the mistakes that people can make if they don't get your help, they don't get their problem solved, and how you help them avoid those mistakes. So step number 4 is so, so important. This is about your bold promise. And when I say bold promise, this is the claim that you are making of how you help people, and what problem you help people solve, and what solution you help them get. This is one of the core pieces of any offer you make, any web page you write, any sales conversation that you have. It's what are they going to get from working with you? What is your big, bold promise? And the point I wanted to make here about in relation to price positioning and being able to charge what, a higher fee and actually get it, is your bold promise has to be aligned with what your ideal client, your dream client, thinks their problem and solution is. Now, I have talked in other trainings, and I will be talking more about how to create a red hot offer that your dream clients find practically irresistible. This is a piece of it. If your bold promise, the claim that you're making, the thing that you're saying that you can help people with, doesn't align with what they think their problems are and what they think they want as a solution, then it's going to fall flat. You could go through the first 3 steps of, going over what the cost of the problem is, what the cost of alternative solutions are, costs of mistakes that you can help them avoid. But if what you say you help them with isn't what they want, you don't know your dream client well enough in their struggles and what they want well enough, then they'll be like, wow, that all sounds great, but it's not for me. Because you're not talking to me. You're not talking to the problems that I have and the solutions that I want. Maybe, Jane down the street, my friend, that's perfect for her, but it's not for me. So you want to make sure that your bold promise is really in alignment with what your clients really want, what they feel they need in the moment that you are talking to them. So you have to meet them where they are. So that's what I'm going to say about that piece today. I do help my clients extensively in creating, creating their own irresistible offers and coming up with that bold promise. So, and you can find, more resources in the trainings here I'm doing on Facebook, and I'm also on my website at christineparma.com/offer-formula. I do talk about that in that resource a bit more too. So the 5th and final step that I'll share with you guys today is you want to build the value. So say you've done all of these first 4 steps correctly, and you've done them really, really well. Somebody could still hesitate, and the reason I want to frame this for you. The reason people hesitate often is not because what you're offering isn't great. It's not because they don't like you. It's not really even about the money. They hesitate because sometimes they want to be sure that that you can actually get the results that you say you're going to, but also that they don't feel sure that they can get the results that other people have gotten. Even if they believe that you've worked miracles for other people, they may not feel the confidence in their own ability to get the results. Or they may feel like the value is just on the edge of what they need to push them over the edge to saying yes. So the 5th step is about building the value and giving them the resources to help them feel confident in saying yes. So some ways that you can build the value: you can offer exclusive bonuses. You can offer time-limited bonuses. You can offer other kinds of incentives, like empowered decision savings, or you make your decision experts to help build the value. And often they'll put the dollar amount of the value of that particular bonus right there, so that even if it's kind of a made-up number in a way, the value, that people's minds mentally start looking at all of these extra value adds that are stacked, and they look at all of those value adds that are stacked, and then they look at the price or the investment that you're charging to work with you or enroll in your program, in the brain, it's almost like a subconscious comparison the brain does. They go, oh, I get all of this for only this. And if all the elements are right, thank you for the likes, then they will say, they're much more likely to say yes. There's a whole psychology that, talking about this one particular piece, thank you for all the likes, is a strategy, in and of itself. There's a lot to this, and of course it's something that I help people with because it's very, very important. So you want to really build the value. So I'll recap real quick what the 5 steps are. Thank you for all the hearts, my goodness. I so appreciate it. I'll recap all of the 5 steps so that you have all the 5 steps right here for you of how to strongly position the price that you're charging to seem like an amazing value for people, so you don't hear people saying you're too expensive, or it's not worth it. Gosh, thank you so much for the hearts. That's super exciting. I love it. Number 1, what is the cost of the problem that your dream client is experiencing right now? And of course, how do you help them solve that? Number 2, what is the cost of an alternative solution or more than one alternative solutions that they could go with? If it's not you, they go with, how do they get their problem solved elsewhere, and what are the costs of those alternative solutions? Number 3, what are the costs of the mistakes that you help them avoid? And be explicit here, be very detailed about what those mistakes are and what it costs them emotionally, financially, mentally, in their relationships, in their health. Go into detail about this. So that, and they can, as they read it, they'll say, oh my gosh, that's true. Or maybe that's not so true for me, but oh my gosh, this other part is really true for me about the cost of the mistakes. Number 4 is, what is the bold promise you're making, and is it truly aligned with what your dream clients want and what they're experiencing and where they are right now? What is the problem that they feel they have, and how do they want it solved? So make sure that your promise you're making about how you help people is really aligned with that. So you really need to know what your dream clients are struggling with. Number 5 is build the value of what you're selling. Build the value of the services that you're offering and how you're helping people. You can do that through incentives and bonuses, guest trainers who come in, could be surprise guest trainers. There's lots of ways that you can build the value. You can add in a retreat, a special VIP day, virtually or live. There's lots of different ways you can do it, but you want to build the value and stack the value of your solution, your services, working with you, versus the investment fee that you're charging for working with you, your course, your program, etc. So that the brain does that mental comparison and goes, wow, I'm getting so much for what this person is asking me to invest with them. Totally, it's a yes. So those are the 5 steps of how to position yourself as more than worth it, so that hopefully you're not going to hear people saying, gosh, you're too expensive, it's just too much money. And in the case that people still say that, if you've gotten these 5 elements right, it should really help a lot. You shouldn't hear that nearly as often. But if people are still telling you you're expensive, number 1, I would look at your offer. Your offer is there's probably something wrong with your offer, a little bit off. Number 2, don't beat yourself up. I really want to say this. Not everybody's going to see us, because not everybody is a right fit, or it may not simply be the right time for somebody to say yes to you, and they may come back around to you later. So don't take it personally when somebody says no or you're too expensive. When you feel confident in the value that you offer and the services that you're providing and how you help people and the price that you're charging, that goes a long way in and of itself to being able to get paid what you're asking for and what you want to charge. So don't take it personally. Keep on going, and tweak as you need to, and make adjustments as you need to. Get outside help. If you need somebody to look at your offer or help you with your offer, that's one of the things I do with my clients, and I'm more than happy to help you with that. So I will say, I will say ciao for today. If you want to learn more about me and how I work with my clients to build soul-fulfilling businesses without working 24/7 and without the overwhelm and all of the sacrifice that comes along with it, and so you can have a balanced and joyful life, because you know what? You deserve it. You deserve to have a profitable business and being an amazing parent also, and have happiness in your life. So if you want to find out more about that, you can find me at christineparma.com. And if you have questions, if you're catching this on the replay, if you have an aha moment, I would love to hear about it. Please post it in the comments, tag me, and I will respond to you personally. So that's it for today. I will see you guys again on Thursday night, Eastern time, with your mindset reset, more of the inner game work that you need to master your business and your life. So take care. I wish you amazing success in both your business and life. And as always, shine brilliantly. Bye-bye.